CCFA. I know that football season is a very short season, but it's very time intense. I think it's one of the most time intense seasons from a coaching standpoint. So I'd like to thank everybody for making the commitments and making the commitment to come here tonight. If I could ask everyone to take their cell phones and put them on silent, I'd appreciate that. We're going to talk a lot about safety for kids, coaching techniques. We've got a couple of board members here. Scott Lindbergh, he's been with our board for probably 13 years. He's a former president of our board. I learned everything I know from him, which isn't very much, no, I'm kidding. And then Joey Zorn. Joey's our vice president, and he's also one of the high school varsity coaches. So we've got a lot of good experience on our board, and like I said, thanks again. And without that, I'll jump into Scott.
All right, as Tom said, welcome guys. I'm going to try and keep it short tonight, try and keep it at an hour. Typically this training, just give you a little bit of background, USA Football, we approached USA Football to become part of our heads up tackling certification team. Part of that process means we have to nominate a player safety coach. The board nominated me to be that person, and I went to a clinic on July 11th to learn how to instruct how to be the player safety coach. My job, my responsibility is to, one, make sure that we're following the principles of heads up football, and two, that you as coaches are teaching those principles to our kids, okay? Don't get me wrong, I'm not walking into anybody's practice and stopping practices and saying, you're not running that right, I'm going to take over this drill. No, my job is just to make sure that we try to keep those principles that we're learning here from USA Football. This is really our first year where we rolled this out. The principles that we're learning with the heads up tackling, the heads up blocking, the techniques that we're going to be teaching and showing you tonight, we'd like to see started as early as possible. What's going to happen? Third grade coaches, you guys are going to have the biggest impact on this in this first year. Eighth graders are already set in what they do, but breaking some bad habits is going to change a lot of things. And I'm going to show you some numbers tonight on injuries, sprains, concussions with USA Football using leagues versus non-USA Football using leagues. And you're going to see big number changes, okay? How many of you have taken the player certification or the coach's certification course and completed it? Okay, all right, not a big deal. The whole point of that is to give you the idea of exactly what we're looking for. You're going to see a lot of the same information up here tonight. Typically what we're going to do next year at this time for this particular meeting, all you coaches will be coming back earlier. We're going to have a Saturday where I'm going to have master trainers from USA Football come in, and they're going to run us through these drills on the football field. So we get an idea of how we should be teaching them. Right now, this is the list, the current list of people who have completed the certification courses for each of the grades. I'm sure you can't read that. But right now, in third grade, we have 3 coaches who have not completed that certification out of the coaches that were signed up. Okay? Now, it has been the board's position that if you're not completed, you're not on the sidelines. Plain and simple. This is a $1 million policy. $1 million liability policy that USA Football provides to us. So if anything were to happen, that $1 million policy kicks in. But it's also a $25,000 policy per injury per participant. So if you have 5 kids that are injured and they need additional help, USA Football has that policy in place. Okay? That's what we're working for. That's what we're trying to make. That's why we have to do what we're doing. Background studies is another big thing of that. A big portion of that. We're trying to make sure that all of our coaches, and you guys have seen it on the news, it can't go by one day at a time where there's some coach that's doing this or doing that. Normally, lately, it's been female coaches. I don't know what it is. They weren't that hot when I was in high school, so. And I certainly wouldn't have been complaining. But again, it's that type of thing that we want to make sure we're checking into. So the background study check, if you've done your background study, you came back, you guys all have the ability to get a copy of that. All you have to do is, I can give you the website if you ever want, but I get a result, we get a green light or a red light. Okay? If you're red lighted, these 2 people up here, my president, my vice president, and myself are the only people who know about it. We make discussions, we talk about it, then we go to the coach. Okay? What are they looking for? They check everything, to be quite honest with you. But we still have the ability, even if someone's been red lighted, to allow them to coach in our league. I was 21 and got a DUI. Should that preclude me from coaching as I'm 55 years of age right now? That's the decision that our board makes. Okay? So if you have your background study done, you're worried about that background study, please don't be. Okay? Anything you guys want to add? Okay? As I said, I've been with the board for 13 years. This is the first time that we've done something similar to this, and I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great year. I think you guys are going to have a lot of fun with this new kind of thinking. We're going to try to change your guys' thinking tonight. Try to change you and give you some ideas about what Heads Up Football is all about. Because your kids are playing, but you're also taking care of other people's kids. So teaching that proper tackling technique, even the blocking techniques will change. We're going away from the chicken wings. You know, you put your hands, you get the hair, the chicken wings, and you block this way, keeping your hands inside. Now we're going to teach getting those hands up. Not extending outside, but getting those hands up. Driving those hips up in, and then driving them to the ground. You know, following through with those blocks. That's all part of keeping that heads up, following through. Okay? Heads Up Football. Heads Up Football is teaching a new technique. It's a new way to teach our kids how to play the game. It's making the game safer. Okay? Concussion ratios. Concussion is a huge buzzword right now. And most of your parents and kids that don't play football are worried that their kids will get a concussion if they play football. Even though the high school sport that has the most incidence of concussions is girls soccer. High school football is not even up in the top 4. But yet it's what we hear about. The NFL Retired Players Association has a multi-billion-dollar lawsuit against the NFL for concussion-related type injuries. Concussion is a huge problem. But it's only one aspect of what they're trying to teach at USA Football. We're also going to talk about practice planning. Tom and I think we're on the same page when we talk about this. The one thing that infuriates me when you go to watch a practice is a coach that walks in and he goes, "Okay, guys, come on. Let's see. We're going to do. Okay, what are we going to do? We're going to do jumping jacks right now. You go to that. You guys got to have a plan for these kids. And if you're in 3rd grade." That's like herding cats. You know, these kids got their helmets on and all they want to do is run around, "Oh, I got a helmet on." So you guys are going to have to really have a practice plan in place. As you start to move through those grades, that practice plan becomes important because now the kids, when they get there, they get regimented. Now they know warm-ups start at this time. Now they know they're going to do this drill and this drill. The other thing we're going to talk to you guys about is contact. You know that 60% of the injuries that we had last year happened in practice. We had 3 broken legs or 3 broken bones last year in practice. And that's a pretty significant thing. So limiting the amount of contact in practice. I'm going to make the suggestion to you guys that you can leave contact till later in the week, before game day. Okay? And even then, you limit the true live contact or take to the ground contact. 8th graders. How many with the 8th grade coaches? How many players do you have on your teams?
30.
30. How many players do you have on your team? 30. Okay. 7th grade. How many players do you have on your team?
18.
18. Okay. 2 players go out. You're down to 16. 2 more players don't show up because they get hurt. You're down to 14. Now you got kids playing both ways. Why is that? Because you're spending too much time on trying to teach them to kill each other in practice. Gone are the days when you put 2 guys head-to-head, lie on the ground, put a football in their stomach, and get them up and say, "Kill them," and see who can tackle them. Remember that drill? We used to do that drill all the time, didn't we, man? We did that drill. Gone are the days when we used to do that, or they should be gone. You guys should be thinking about better ways to teach that tackling. Better ways to teach about wrapping up. Better ways to teach about bringing it to the ground, about stripping. And hopefully tonight, Joey and I can give you some ideas. The core components, you guys all saw this online. I'm going to go through it quick, but we really need to talk about a lot of different things. Concussion training is huge. Okay? The other one that's going to be a big one, sudden cardiac arrest. It hasn't happened to us yet, but it's happened around the country. 14, 15-year-old kids collapsing in sudden cardiac arrest. We need to know what to do. How many of you are CPR certified? Right, about 10. Okay. How many of you would be interested in CPR certification if it was free to you? Okay? How many would be interested in CPR certification with free to you and your family member, your wife? Okay. I will tell you now, if you don't know my background, I'm a paramedic. I've been a paramedic for 23 years. I'm also an educator at Hennepin Technical College. I teach EMS. Next year's training, next year's coaches meeting, I'm going to offer CPR to my coaches as well as their significant others for free of charge. Okay? Be hands-on only CPR to teach how to do what we need to do. Okay? We'll talk about heads-up tackling. You guys went through that. Joey and I are going to do some drills up on stage, and then we're going to talk a little bit about heat and readiness, preparedness. Water breaks are huge. We're not going to have as much heat right now, but we will have that Indian summer that we typically have here in Minnesota, and it's going to get hot out there, especially with those pads on. You guys need to be breaking these kids more, because these kids have been running around all summer with not a lot of this equipment on. Now you're going to put a football helmet on, shoulder pads, pants, and a jersey on them, and you're going to run them through drills. You're going to sprint them. You're going to warm them up with wind sprints. You're going to cool them down with sprints. All that is sweat. All that is losing water. And what does the kid bring to the field? He brings a water bottle about this big, or stops at the SA and grabs an Aquafina, and that's his water bottle at 20 ounces for that hour and a half practice that he has. There needs to be more access to water, and that's something that I'm going to work with the board on, and maybe we can provide. Maybe we can put a big jug. Maybe we can rent McDonald's or buy McDonald's jugs and fill those up with water and put them on the practice field so that they're there. The other issue that we have is because we are so spread out. You know, 4th grade is over here, 8th grade is there, 3rd grade is here, 7th grade is here. You know, having that water jug or having that AED available may not always be right there. So we need to think about better things that we can do. We need to think about that as a board. And then we need to articulate that down to you guys so that we're all working towards the same goal. Keeping the kids coming back. How are our numbers this year? We up? We down? Eden Prairie is down 200 kids. Eden Prairie is down 200 kids.
We're down about 80.
So, I mean, we're down. Why are we down? We're down because kids that played either didn't like it because they got hurt or were afraid of getting hurt, didn't like their coaches for whatever reason, or they just decided to play another sport. Now, I believe in multi-sport athletes. I think all kids should play multiple sports. Okay? I don't think there should be. We are pigeonholing our kids right now. You play baseball all year round. Even when there's snow on the ground, you're in your pitching, you're in your throwing, you're in your taking grounders. Kids are getting so pigeonholed into one sport. They're not being kids anymore. So I'm all about multi-sports athletes, but we've got to keep the kids we have coming back. And the way to do that is good coaching, good technique, and making the game fun again. Take the W's out of the thinking. It shouldn't be about the wins. Who can remember the last 6th grade champion? Who was 6th grade champion last year? You were? Okay. For what? Jasper or Chanhassen?
Jasper.
Jasper. Okay. Who was the 4th grade champion? You were? Okay. How important was that? Yeah. Did it go on your resume? You think the kids put it on theirs? That was a 4th grade champion? My point with that is we need to stop thinking about wins and losses, and we need to start thinking about coaching these kids to move up to our high schools. Who we're going to be, that's why we're here. That's what we're supporting. Coach Dahl, Coach Rosberg, they're getting these kids now. In 8th grade, these kids are going into their program. And if we can teach them and get them going the right direction from 3rd grade up, it just makes that program that much stronger. The Hutchinsons, the Eden Prairies, the Cold Springs, the Silver Lakes, the Gold Springs, the Corries, they don't get them just in high school. The kids don't automatically show up and they start winning championships. They started with the youth programs, and it's coaching. Questions? Anything you want to add, Jody?
No, I'll get to my part.
Okay. So here's the steps that we need to implement. Obviously, get trained, get you guys certified in the organization. We have our coaches clinic. That's tonight. It's going to be a coaches clinic that's going to be abbreviated. Coaches clinic literally is probably about a 4 to 5 hour day. You run you through drills. We have master trainers that come in and talk to you individually. They show you the techniques that they want to use, and you actually practice them on each other so you get a feel for what coaching is all about. Really coaching each other. Parent and player education. There's going to be a letter posted on the website that I'm going to give to Henry here later tonight that's going to give the parents of your team the opportunity to go in, and the player to go into USA Football, sign in, have a free account, and learn about what they're going to be learning from you. Now think of how important that is to the parents. Tom Hughesman told me a story about one of his players who came back and they were doing the training, and his mom watched the Seattle Seahawks video. Don't know where she watched it from. But the kid came home, saw mom watching that, and he told mom, he said, that's exactly what my coaches are teaching me. And she was ecstatic about it. See, the Seattle Seahawks are part of USA Football in a big way. So, again, coaches' clinic should be held prior to the first day of the season. We missed that goal. We missed that. That was my fault. I should have been a little bit more proactive. I should have taken it, and we should have had it. We should have had this in July, okay, this meeting. This shouldn't be waiting this long. Every one of you must become level 1 certified. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, no questions. You can't find the time, let me know. You can take it, it takes 3 hours, it does. I did it too. All of our board members are required to do it as well.
If you're not going to be certified, you won't be allowed to coach in your first game.
And that is a board position. So everybody's got to get certified before that first game. High school coaches, we didn't offer this to the high school coaches, but the high school coaches know we're on board with this.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
How many coaches do you want certified?
I want the assistant coach and the head coach. 2 coaches. It is going to be then your responsibility to work with your parent coaches. You guys are going to educate them. Okay? I can't do the entire city of Jasper or Chanhassen in USA Football. We just couldn't afford that. We can do you 2, and then you can spread the wealth. You know, you're going to have those parents who know football. Maybe they were even a professional sports athlete. But they're going to tell you that, you know, what this is the way we want it done. You're a parent helper, and if you're not going to follow, then you're not a parent helper. Okay? 2 coaches. Yes, sir.
Okay, 2 per team versus anyone in this roster.
2 per team versus anybody that's in roster that we will be willing to pay for. If you have a parent who wants to do this, get them on that website. They can do it for free. Doesn't cost them a penny. You want your parent coaches to be helpers and you want them to understand, put them on that website. Send them to usafootball.com, tell them to check in as a parent player, and they will get a free code to go through the program. I told you about the injury data. This is what USA Football put together. You will notice USA Football is all in green, non-USA Football using or non-heads-up football using organizations are in blue. 3 times the concussion numbers. With not teaching USA Football standards, the USA Football heads-up tackling techniques. Look at the injuries, abrasions, concussions, contusions, fractures, inflammation, sprains, strains, any type of other type injuries that we typically see on the football field. A decrease in those numbers by following the principles behind heads-up tackling. And those principles just don't include the actual physical portion of that. They include the practice planning and the limited contact. Teaching the footwork, teaching the steps, teaching the rip, teaching the shoot, getting the hips in there, driving. And that works for blocking as well as tackling. Concussion is a big, big problem. And in my job as a paramedic, I see a lot of people who have been concussed. I'm going to put a scenario for you guys, and I want you guys to think about it, because this was put to me at the player safety clinic. Each one of you is playing in the championship game. You're on defense. It's 3rd down, 5 yards. You're up by 6 points. They're on your 5-yard line. 3rd down. You call your play in. They call their play in. Your middle linebacker is the stud of your team. He is your top running back. He is your top tackler. He's somebody. Okay? The play goes on, they call their play, the snap happens, they run the play, he just crushes the guy 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage. When he gets up, he's kind of groggy, kind of limps, he's kind of staggering a little bit, he's shaking his head, he gets back in the huddle, he's kind of putting his hands down, he's got his hands here, he looks up at the play, he's kind of looking confused, they call a timeout. Everybody runs over, you call your coach, you call your team over to the sideline. Little Tommy's a little bit late to get there. Tommy, you okay? You okay? Yeah, I'm okay, coach. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm gonna tough it out, coach. Yeah, I got one more play. I mean, coach, I got one more. I'm okay. I'm okay, coach. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. 4th down and 5 for the championship. Do you put Tommy back in the game? Honestly, you put Tommy back in the game. Raise your hand if you put him back in the game. Absolutely. Now, why do I say that? Because that's my thinking. That's how I was taught to coach football. He says he's okay. He says he's able to make the play. So you looked me in the eye and said, Coach, I can do it. These are the times when you guys have to step up. And those of you that didn't put your hands up, I hope that's what you would truly do. When it comes down to it, when it comes down to that point in time, that decision has to be made. We as a board have taken the position that anytime we think, or our EMTs on the field think that a patient had, or that player has been concussed in any way, or any way has a head injury, his helmet comes back with the EMT. He is not allowed to be back in the game until he's been medically cleared. No, I don't care if he's the best player on your team. I don't care if he's your own son. I don't care if you've got the world's most obnoxious parents sitting on the sideline telling you, my kid's okay to play. That kid does not go back in the game until he has medical clearance. And then he comes back in on a scheduled type of increasing of contact.
Scott, explain the medical clearance part.
What?
Explain medical clearance.
Medical clearance means they must have a written order from a physician that says he is legally, or he is cleared to play football again. Okay? That does not mean that he can put the helmet and the pads on and come running back onto the field and try to tackle your biggest offensive lineman. This means he can start with limited activity. Maybe he can start with jogging. Maybe he can start with running a little bit with the team. And we can increase that activity as he starts to progress. The high schools have been using impact testing for a number of years. I would encourage all of you that you have kids playing to get impact testing, so you know what a baseline of the kid is. Again, sudden blow, joke to the head, all concussions are serious even if you don't have knocked out. Anybody ever played football, got the bell rung? Yeah. Yeah, you're sitting there going, whoa, okay, yeah, I'm good. That's you. You were probably at a point where you were probably concussed. Okay? That's one of the signs and symptoms. Yeah, Nate's probably over there. He's kind of a little confused here. So these are some of the signs. Let me explain to you about something as I teach my EMTs and my paramedics. There are two things we need to think about, signs and symptoms. Signs are something we can see, measure, feel, or touch. Okay? Something you can measure, so a blood pressure, eyes, vomiting, something you can see. Those are signs. Symptoms are something that people tell you. I'm nauseated, I got diarrhea, I don't feel good. So when you start to see this list of signs and symptoms, these are what you're going to be looking at. Moves clumsily, moves around like he's clumsy. So you got that guy, maybe you got a quarterback who just got his bell rung and he lines up underneath the guard. Whoops. Did he get his bell rung or did he just make a mistake? Over here, feeling sluggish, did not feel right, nausea, balance, headache, pressure in the head. We just started your first week of practices, right, coaches? How many of your kids are complaining about their helmet already? Yeah. Equipment fitting is huge. Well, you know what? We were there at equipment fitting. We fitted these helmets right this year. Not that we haven't in the past. Those kids have not been used to wearing those helmets. But again, they may complain of a headache. You need to be vigilant with that. Is it a headache from the helmet or is it a headache from a hit? How many of you started contact already? How many weeks are we in practice? 1 week. Is this the second week of practice this week? So we've got what, a week and a half of practice and you guys are already into hitting. No acclimation, no warm-ups, no getting the body oriented to taking that smack. As the older kids, yeah, they're probably used to it, but those younger kids, those third graders, those fourth graders coming from third grade to fourth grade, bodies are growing a little bit. So we need to be careful with these kids. Again, when in doubt, sit them up. And the EMTs, if they ever think that your kid has been concussed, they're going to take that helmet away. Now, I can't see us making the EMTs keep the helmets. The only reason I can't see that is because we have an EMT maybe covering 2 fields. What if he has a stack of football helmets? I'm going to instruct our EMTs, or the coordinator of our EMTs, to tell the EMTs he takes that helmet from the kid He hands it to the coach. Now it's that we need our parents, not only us, but our parents need to recognize them, as well as our players need to be able to tell us that they have these issues. Now you know you're going to have little Tommy who's playing safety, and he's not there because he wants to play. He's there because Dad put him in there because Dad wanted him to play. So now you put him in the only spot where you think he's not going to get into the play, and he's going to run into the wrong. He's going to be running backwards and tripping over somebody and hit his head. Okay? So again, you have to start thinking about the kids that want to be there and the kids that don't want to be there. Heat, hydration, hydration, hydration. That's all I'm going to tell you on heat. You guys need to get more water breaks more frequently, and you need to coach these kids to bring bigger water bottles. Mom can't stop at the SA because she's 5 minutes late and get them that 16-ounce water bottle for an hour and a half practice. At the varsity fields, I know the hoses are left on. So they're able to use that water as well. As I told you, I am going to bring to the board some ideas about how we can help the outline field, where we can maybe put water jugs out there. Maybe the coaches that are practicing there alternate. They bring water or ice and we fill them up with water so that all the kids have access to those. We've got to do something better with hydration.
Excuse me, Scott. At the varsity level, they get water. We have 4 different stations set up. They get water at least at a minimum every 20 minutes. And on these hot days that we had last week, it was about every 10 to 12 minutes they were getting water. Okay? So if you were having practice last week and you were going full bore and you were having a lot of contact in your first week, that's mistake number 1. Mistake number 2 was if you weren't giving them water at least at a minimum in your guys' practice, and yeah, it gets a couple degrees cooler at night. Every 15 minutes you should have been watering those kids up. Just so you know, we've had 17 practices at the varsity level right now. We've had 3 days of contact. That's it. In 17 practices. Some of you guys have probably had more contact in your, 5 or 6 practices than what we've had in 17 at the varsity level. Think about that. If you've had more than 3 days and you've only had 6 or 7 practices, that's a big strike against your mentality right now. Because you're overloading the kids way too early to be putting them into live drills and smacking heads. That's just asking to get a kid injured. And not maybe a concussion, but just an injury, a sprain, a contusion. Lots of things that were on that list that can happen, not just a concussion. You got to ease kids in. We eased our team in. Every team across the state, you ease your teams into that contact. You don't just go day number 2 or 3 that they have the pads on and start smacking each other around. That's foolishness. That's too old school thinking. And I'm an old school guy. When Scott said that earlier, I wanted to raise both my hands up because that's what I would have done. I would have said, "You all right, John? All right, let's go, baby. Go make that next tackle. Let's win this game." I was stupid like that. I'm not anymore. I've learned a lot over the years. I've learned how to help protect players so that I've got that player coming back next year. So that I've got that player coming back next game. So that I've got him coming back next play. Not worrying about, did I win that one thing? Who cares? Okay? And yeah, it matters at the varsity level. Some of these kids have gone on and are playing a lot. We've got a lot of guys here in Chaska that are playing college football now. Okay? A lot that you don't even realize. The D2 schools, FBS type schools, all the smaller schools, we've got a lot of kids playing football. And some of those kids that played on this varsity team and been concussed. I think I have 2 gentlemen right here in this room whose sons have played and had concussions at the high school level. And have we eased them back in, guys? Mr. Ward? We eased them back in? Yeah. They didn't just get to come out because Dad said it was okay. They had a medical clearance. They started jogging. We started lifting weights. Then they got eased back into practice when they got a full clearance. It's no different at your guys' grade. In fact, at your grade, with the kids in the development that they are in compared to a high school player, they will get a concussion easier. And it can take even longer for them to come back because of how less developed they are physically than what a high school player is.
You all remember Corey Stringer, Minnesota Viking, actually got heat stroke, was taken in, cooled down, told the coaches he was fine, went back out the next day in the same type of heat, came back in with the same type of symptoms, collapsed in the training room and died. They couldn't cool him quick enough. Okay? Part of the things we need to remember, especially with any type of heat stroke, we need to remember the beginning signs and symptoms. Heat symptoms, somebody who passes out. We also need to remember that heat cramps. Anytime someone starts to cramp up when they've been working out or been running a lot in the heat, is because they're losing water. And when you lose water, salt follows water. Okay? Which means that the muscle tissue doesn't get the desired amount of salt that it needs in order to work. That's what a heat cramp is. Back in the day, you could give a salt tablet, didn't they, Mr. Arnold?
Salt tablet and ice cube, that's what you
Yep,
got.
salt tablets and ice cubes. And then that's when Gatorade was really just brand new. You all drank that, but it was in a powder. You make it in a liquid. Fluids. I like water. I think water is the best thing for everybody. It's readily absorbed by the body. But that doesn't mean that those sport shakes or those rehydration fluids, such as the Gatorades, the Aspires, those types of with carbohydrates, or not carbohydrates, with electrolytes and that type of stuff in them are not good for the athlete. But they really need water. It's going to be more readily absorbed than those. So you can do a lot more water than do a Gatorade. Okay? So making sure you guys are really emphasizing these kids. 20 minutes, after 20 minutes, there should be a water break. Especially with these younger kids. They're going to dehydrate much quicker.
Encourage parents to stay away from these monsters and all kinds of stuff like that. That doesn't hydrate them at all. It actually boosts their heart rate. It makes them even dehydrate faster, so.
Monster, Red Bull, Rockstar, most of you guys drink those. Okay, you drink those to have some sort of pep or wake up, whatever. 5-hour energy shots, there's another one the kids should be staying away from. All that does is increase heart rate. That's all caffeine. Now you're going to increase your heart rate, you're also going to put them through an exertion drug. So now that heart's beating at 120 minutes, 120 beats per minute, now you got it going up to 190 to 200. It's not going to do that for that long before they collapse. So again, watching that type of stuff. Kids will come, they'll bring stuff. My son played soccer in high school. My last boy played soccer. He was a football player through the 7th grade until he realized Ryan Wanling was probably the greatest kid he ever saw, so he didn't want to have to tackle Ryan Wanling anymore. So he quit playing. My son now is 6'5", 228 pounds. I don't know why he quit playing football. But he played soccer, and we made it a parent's responsibility to bring a cooler full of ice water with towels in them, and they put them around their necks when they came out. When they came out of the game, put them around their necks. You guys have the ability to drag these parents. These parents want to become involved with their kids. They want to be part of that training. Make it a parent's responsibility. Give a parent coach. Give them a parent manager. Moms love that parent manager thing. Make mom a parent manager. And she delegates it. Mr. Nelson, your wife is going to bring water next week. Mr. Luzbrock, your wife's going to bring water next week. And those are the people that do it. And you bring water. Okay? You can do that. You can do that for practices. You can do that for games. And it gets the parents involved. And that's what they want. They want to make sure that their kids are safe. Cold water immersion. Again, this is something to do with court. They have a cold water immersion tub at the high school, but it's not always available to us. In fact, it's very frequently it's not available to us. So if we've got somebody that's truly down, we need to start pouring water on them. Our emergency plan for any type of emergency coaches is 911. Know where you're practicing. Make somebody responsible to get that ambulance to you. We pull up in an ambulance, I see a lot of kids running around. But make sure someone is there to tell me where I'm supposed to go. We have great ambulance services here. We have great paramedics here in the city of Chaska and Chanhassen. We need them. They're there relatively quickly. But just making sure we know what we're doing. Always call 911. Not going to hurt. There's a big secret that people don't know about ambulances. You call an ambulance, but your kid doesn't get in, there's no charge. I will even bandage somebody's arm. I'll put a splint on them. I'll tell them that I can take them to the hospital because I can give them pain medication. And mom will say, no, I'll take them. There's no charge. There's no charge until the wheel of that bus starts going round and around. Then there's a charge. So it doesn't hurt to get it started to you. Be on the safer side. Don't wait. Don't send them home with mom. We had a coach when I was president who sent a kid home because she wasn't quite sure if he broke his arm or not. But he sent him home. He got home, he broke both bones in his wrist. Again, could be a liability, couldn't be a liability. The kid didn't want to go by ambulance. But that again, let the parents make that call. That's not your decision. But if a kid does go by ambulance because we can't get a hold of him, because you know what happens. They drop that kid off at the football field, and then they disappear for 2 hours. And so what happens? Practice is over a half an hour early because it starts to get dark. You got those 15 kids sitting up there underneath the trees on the top of the varsity practice in Chaska, sitting there waiting for mom and dad to come. You know how many times I sat with kids waiting for their parents to get there? My kid's already in the car. It starts to rain, it gets darker, the kids are still sitting there on their cell phone. Mom, where you at? I'm in Target, will be there. Mom and dad need to know when practice is going to be done. They need to know when they're going to be there. You guys need to set that expectation. You need to let coaches, as coaches, you need to let them know when babysitting stops. Okay, because a lot of people think that's what you guys are doing. I personally don't. When those parents drop those kids off, you need to tell them, you need to be back here 6:30. Even if you're not done at 6:30, they're waiting in the line up there. Sudden cardiac arrest. This is our action plan. This is what CCFA's action plan is. We could not afford to put an AED at every practice field because of where we are located. Our EMTs have access to 911 as well, but they do not carry an automated defibrillator with them because of the way we're spread out. Okay? Those automated defibrillators cost about $2,700. Okay? But they have a plan in place. They call 911. The thing we need to remember is if we don't have an AED there, we need to be starting CPR right away. And if you don't know CPR, I'll give you a basic lesson right now. If someone's not breathing and their heart's not beating, put your hand in the middle of the chest and push as hard as you can, as fast as you can, until help arrives. There, you're all CPR certified. Push hard, push fast. Because we don't see these kids going down in cardiac arrest. But you look in the papers and you see stories of kids that are collapsing. The last one I saw was a 14-year-old kid running during soccer practice and collapsed in sudden cardiac arrest. It's happening. It's no longer an old person's disease. And sudden cardiac arrest is not a heart attack. It is a dysrhythmia. It is a lethal dysrhythmia that the heart beats differently and all of a sudden stops beating. It's not a heart attack. Again, 2/3 of all these deaths occur in football and basketball. Why do you think? Why do you think? What?
Hard work.
Hard work. Yep. What else? Equipment? Not so much in basketball, but running up and down the courts. Why wouldn't you see it in hockey? Temperature differences. Extremes outside play into that as well. You're inside a basketball court, hot basket, inside a building, you're sweating, the heat's on. The same thing with football. You've got equipment that's holding it in, and as much as we have wicking stuff and perspired stuff that kind of pulls that moisture away from us, these kids are getting overheated and overheated fast. Again, so preseason screening. I told Joey today when we were planning this talk, I know there's some other varsity coaches in here. My neighbor was a varsity coach, he's not my neighbor anymore. But I guarantee you the Minnesota State High School League is going to change their policy. They're going to require all kids in their athletic physicals to have a pre-screen EKG. It's the only way they can find out if they have the dysrhythmia or not. But how many times did you tell a 13-year-old, okay, at 15 you got to have a physical, we're going to check your heart to see if you have a dysrhythmia. When would mom and dad ever think to do that on their 13 or 15-year-old kid? But I have a feeling that this is going to become part of the Minnesota State High School League's physical plan. Our action plan here to develop, call 911. Start CPR immediately. So someone's on the phone, someone's doing CPR. And then get that help to you as quickly as you can. Pre-screening, qualified professionals taking blood pressures and stuff. This is an AED, what it looks like. It's an easy piece of equipment. Open it up, starts talking to you. Apply pads to patient's bare chest. Plug it in, shock them. Most of the time the rhythm that these kids are in is shockable and will save them. Okay?
the EMTs have those?
The EMTs will not, I don't know, I'm checking with our EMT vendor to see if he's going to have those. I'm going to recommend that he does. But they are located within the high school. I don't know how close they are in the high school.
There's one in the basement of Chaska High School.
Okay, so there is one where we could send somebody up to run up to get that as well once CPR is initiated. But again, our EMT provider, the person who's covering our games, should be providing that coverage for us, and I'm going to make them aware of that. Okay, they haven't in the past. And guys, we've had a cardiac arrest on watching a football game. Remember, Tom, third grade? A third grade grandfather collapsed in cardiac arrest. Remember? Guess what? He came back. They did CPR on him. I don't know who did it, but I was a responding medic on the scene, and he had a pulse when I got him because CPR was started right away. And that was a grandfather. Okay? So just remember, doesn't just happen to kids too. It could be someone standing on your side. Chest pain, racing heart, and it should be shortness of breath, prior episodes of passing out. These are some of the signs and things you should be looking for. Again, locate AEDs at all practice fields and game fields. At some point in time, maybe that might be beneficial, but right now, I don't know how we can do it all. Emergency route practice and games. Guys, you need to know how to get into that field. When we used to practice that, what's that park that's right off of, oh gosh, I can think of it, I can see it in my head. It's in Chanhassen. Sunset, there you go. We used to practice at Sunset, and one team used to like to practice down on a portion of the field that was covered by the trees down in the hill, and it had just about 50 yards where you could just be, one team could practice there. Okay? Everybody else, we split the field though. But if no one knew that team was there, if someone collapsed, how are we going to get them in? How are we going to get the ambulance in there? So again, knowing where you are, where you're at. Most of you carry your cell phones. Most of you bring your cell phones to practice? Yeah, if you don't, you should. Okay? Have those parents involved in practice as well. Making sure you get those parents up to that practice as well. There's our recognition. This is what we're going to talk about, this early recognition stuff. This is our action plan right here. Early recognition, get 911, start CPR, if the AED is available, shock them. If not, continue that CPR. You can't hurt people, even if they have a pulse, when you're pushing on somebody's chest. You can break ribs, but if they're dead, they stay dead. But thank you, Coach. I have resources that I can give to you guys. I can pass on to you guys. I can if you go on your coach's profile, you'll see practice planners. You'll see quarterback wristbands that you can put on if you're using the wristband system. You can see hydration things. You can see drills on their video drills. Some of the video drills are extremely good. Minnesota Vikings, Green Bay Packers, Seattle Seahawks, all their drills. Northwestern Wildcats. They have a series of drills on there that you can use for offense, defense, specialty teams. In your drill library, it'll show you, it'll talk to you about how to line up for a kickoff, how to show them how to go down the field. And you can use that video to set up a drill that will help you teach them that as they get into kickoffs. Handoffs, ball control, all that stuff. You guys have so much access to so much stuff. Now I know a lot of you are very football savvy, but these are just some tools that you guys can use that can help you. Here's where we talk about the football video. This particular drill here, you've got an offensive player, you've got a coach standing behind. He says, dummy number 2, player runs, cuts in, boom, using proper tackling, lifts up, stops the contact. It just does that angle drill, does that angle tackling. 60% of the tackles done in football are at an angle. It's not heads up. So teaching them how to use that angle tackling is important as well. I will be tracking all your progress. You will be hearing from me, or someone from the board, or your commissioners will be hearing from me, and then you will hear from them. It is required. You heard Tom say it, yes, sir.
How do we get access if we haven't seen an email?
You have a code. You haven't gotten your code yet?
Yeah, I haven't seen anything.
I will make sure your commissioner has a code for you. Most of you, what grade are you teaching? 7th? Your code is Chaska 7th grade, I believe.
So you haven't been on the USA football to get certified?
My kid just wanted to sign up 2 weeks ago, so I must have missed all
Okay.
those emails.
Any questions so far, guys? I'm trying to keep this at an hour, but as always, it doesn't work.
Go. Middle, go. Shoot them forward, up and forward. Over here. Squeeze back, good position, up and forward hard. Okay? Hands together though, Jesse. Hands together. Bring your hands together. Okay? That's one of the very first steps of teaching a kid how to make a tackle. One of the very first steps. Heads up tackle. Okay? I want you to all stand up so that you wake up a little bit. Scott sometimes keeps going and going and going.
Everybody, baby.
And it is funny, but I'll tell you what, all the information he just gave you is very, very valuable information. You guys can sit down now. Okay, guys, heads up tackle. I'm gonna stop there. For those of you that were at the parent meeting, this is kind of a repeat. For those of you that were not, I'm going to stress a point, okay? I'm going to stress a point. And I like to stand right at the edge of the stage when I stress my points. This game is fun. I love this game. I have been coaching this game for 19 years. This is my 20th season of coaching football. Okay? I love it. I started playing it in 5th grade. I played it through 5 years of college. I love this game. I love what it teaches our kids. Okay? I love the teamwork. I love that the littlest guy all the way through the biggest guy can get a shot at playing a sport, and his size doesn't matter. His heart matters. And the other part that matters is you guys sitting right here. Okay? There's a statistic. I'm trying to remember the number now. I don't have my book with me. So I'm going to try to recall from memory. I believe it is 68% of boys and girls stop playing sports between the ages of 6 and 17 years of age because of coaching. Almost 70% of kids that should still be playing a sport, walking in our high schools, walking in our middle schools, and even younger in our elementary schools, because I said ages 6 to 17, stop playing because of coaches. Not because they didn't love the game, because their coaches figured out how to make it not be fun. Okay? That's a big number. That's a big number. Do not make this sport that I love so much not be fun. I was talking to some guys earlier. We had 11 kids in our junior class this year that played last year as sophomores, not come back and play this year. Some of them went to theater, some of them went to choir. Some of them just said that at this level, when you get to high school, it has become a job, and they don't want to put in the time and effort. I can appreciate that. Makes me wonder if I did something wrong as a coach, or maybe one of the other guys did something wrong as a coach, and we didn't make it fun enough for them. But when they get to my level, it does become a lot of work. It does become a lot of work, okay? You guys, at your age levels, do not allow that to happen. If a kid stops playing football, then you didn't do your job. I'm going to tell you that. The coaches I coach, my oldest son, who's 24 now through the program, my middle son, who is now a junior in high school. The coaches that I coached with through both those tenures, we checked ourselves every year on whether or not we were successful by how many kids came back and played the next season that played for us the season before. That's how you truly check yourself as a coach. Not on whether or not you've got that on your resume that you were the 4th grade or 6th grade or 7th or 8th grade champion. Nobody really gives a rat's rear end. Nobody really cares. So if you won that 4th or 6th grade championship, I think we had 2 guys raise their hands. At the end of the next football season, this football season we're in right now, are you going to stand at the end of the season and go, guys, hey, I'm glad we won the championship last year? No, hell no, you're not going to. Because it doesn't matter. What matters if you're a good coach is how many guys come back and play the next season. That's what matters. That's how we build programs. That's how we keep our numbers up, is by making it fun. Fun. One great quote from USA Football. I loved it. I believe it was Tony Dungy. Right? Tony Dungy. What does the guy in baseball say? The head umpire say when the game starts? What's he say?
Play ball.
What? Say it again?
Play ball.
I didn't some of you guys didn't say it. What does he say?
Play ball.
Yeah, he says play ball. He doesn't say work ball. Does he? Not once. When you guys may have played baseball, did he say work ball? Let's go, work ball. No. Play ball. Play, as in fun. Play ball. Have fun. Okay? I can't stress that enough. My middle linebackers that play for me at the varsity level, we have fun every practice. And I work their tails off. I'm a mean customer coach. I work their tails off. But I make sure that at the end of the day, we've had some fun. We've laughed. We've had some jokes. You know, maybe they're not all appropriate, but we've had some jokes amongst our little group. And we've had some fun. We've had some smiles. That's important. I'm not saying at your age level that you can do those inappropriate things that I may be able to get away with. But you need to make it fun, guys. You need to make it fun. That is the most important thing you can do. Okay? The rest of this stuff is all technique that you can teach to anybody. You can teach it to your wife at home. If you can't teach fun, then you need to question whether or not you should be here. You can't teach the kids to have fun playing this sport. You need to question your ethics and your morals on whether or not you should be coaching this sport. Breakdown, which is a basic football position. What do most coaches call this?
Base.
Base, or we call this power position. Okay? This is a power position. Why? Because the knees are bent, the butt is low to the ground. His back is not coming across like this. This is the hardest thing to teach a kid, is to not do this and think he's low. We need to teach him to bend at the knees and get low. This is where they need to be at. I should look pretty close to that picture. If I don't, it's because I'm old and fat. Okay? But I use different terminology, but buzzing is just making sure that the feet are firing. Okay? Our hip position. Notice where the helmet is. Notice that his eyes are up. And this point of his helmet is not coming into the body at all. His eyes are up. It is his face mask and his hands that are going to make that point of contact first. Remember this one that we just did when we stood up? Where are his hands? Right back by the numbers. Now, I teach this where the hands actually come together here, right up above the point of those numbers. Then we finish. When we finish, we try to get, notice again, eyes are up. Eyes are up. Eyes are up. Face mask is going to slide to the side. Hands are up and high. Now he's going to start to bring his hips in. Okay? It's very simple, guys. Very simple. Down in the position. I call it a read step. 6-inch read step. Excuse me. 6-inch step, read step. When you're taking that read step, your hands are coming back here. That's where we're doing this that we just did. As you're coming in to make that tackle, the hands shoot up, the face mask is up, hands shoot up, hips come in. Hips come in. All the power comes from where in our body. Okay? Don't make the mistake when somebody says something about the core that every knucklehead walking around thinks this is your core. This is not your core. Your core is from just above your kneecap to the bottom of your sternum. That's your core. That's your core base of power. Your core base of power is here, 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 and here. That's your core. That is truly your core of your body. That's what carries you everything through every sport and everything you do. You can't stand up out of a chair without using your core. Okay? It's that simple. So again, the buzz of the feet. You're broken down already. The buzz of the feet, which is what I call a 6-inch, and a read step, which is getting the feet moving at the snap of the football. Hip position, face mask is up. You're going to come into the body, and you're going to have that face mask slide to one side or the other. One side or the other. We are not ramming our face mask into the middle of somebody's chest. We are taking our face mask and letting it slide to one side or the other. Whichever side it goes to, it goes to. As we're making that contact, we're shooting the arms up through. Just like we practiced when we stood up, we're shooting the arms up through. When we shoot those arms up through, then our hips come here. And we're here because we're using our core power to drive into the player making the tackle. Our head is off to one side or the other. I'm going to show you a couple simple drills to work with the kids at the youth level. So, come on over here. Watch closely. Go down on one knee. Okay. This is the first part of it, guys. Put your hands up. I'm the tackler. We're just simply going to go like this. Coach is going to be, you could do this with the entire team on one white line. Here, set, hit. Set, hit. Set, hit. Boom. It's that simple. Very simple. I had you guys stand up and do it, so I saw that you could all do it. Right? Very simple. Now, the next part of it that you want to transition into is bringing the hips. So now we're here. We go. Set, hit. See his body lift a little bit? We're teaching to bring the core strength of your body into it. Not appropriate, but at the high school level, I tell them it's what they're doing with Sally on Friday night. Okay? So, now, again, pinch the shoulders back. Set, hit. This is the first part. Set, hit. Okay? Now, second part. Set, hit. Set, hit. Okay? Just like that. That teaches the kids to bring the arms. It teaches the kids to bring the hips. Okay? So what I just did? Let's see if we can do it. Now, before you guys start, you switch knees. So, we generally go 3 times here, then the other side goes, switch knees. 3 times here, other side goes. And then we transition to the next, where now we really strive to bring those hips in. Okay? Very, very simple thing to teach the kids. Go back to that last one. To teach the kids how to get in these types of positions. Okay? And finish by bringing the hips in. You're doing it from a knee. It's not a hard live drill. Chances of an injury are about 0. I've been doing this drill for years. I've never had a kid get injured doing this. Very, very difficult for a kid to get injured. We've had a kid go, ooh, ah, because this guy hit this guy and this guy wasn't ready and he fell on top of him. So everybody has to be ready. Their body has to be tight and ready to do the drill. All right, guys. Arms up. Set, hit. Get that chest to chest. Set, hit. Set, hit. Boom. Very simple. Now, you need to start teaching these kids, especially at the 3rd grade level. This is huge at the 3rd grade level. Just teaching a kid to get comfortable at the 3rd grade level of a little chest bump. Just a little chest bump, that's all it is. And then start to teach them how to bring their hips into something. And actually learn that that's where their core power is coming from. And then get comfortable with giving that guy that little bit of lift. Okay? Eric, come on up. When we go into this from a stand-up position, you have a guy standing here. He's got his arms up. We're not going to start 5 yards away and be stupid. Okay? There's no sense in that. Yeah, can we start our linebackers 5 yards back from the line of scrimmage, the running backs another 3 or 4 or 5 yards back? Yes. Okay, that's a game situation. But right now you're teaching technique. You're teaching these kids technique. And this is a fun drill for the kids to get into. They get goofy, they get to laughing, okay? Arms up. Okay, so the buzz, okay, as their terminology. Now in my breakdown, okay, which is what I call a power position, 6-inch step, reach step, again, the buzz steps. So it's basically the ball's getting snapped, their feet are getting moving, they're coming in, they're buzzing in here, and they're going just like this. The face mask is going to come and make contact and slide to the side. Boom, I'm coming here, my hands are going to shoot, boom, and now I go like this. Jeez, Eric, how much do you eat for me? Okay? Where were my hips though? When you finish this, and the kid has them here, it should look like this. My hips are where his hips are, right? Okay? If you have a kid that's like this, it's pretty hard to pick this guy up. Not to mention he ain't a big meal. Hard to pick that guy up. You can teach a kid how to use his hips just by a simple drill. You can start right here, if you want to, and do the same thing we did from the knees and just teach them to do this. Bring the hips in. Come a little closer. Okay? You can teach it just there, then start to take that 1, 2 steps back. Alright? So that they can learn how to start buzzing their feet. Most important thing when you start close is the breakdown position, right? Am I going to be able to pick him up from here? No. Can't pick him up from there. Got to be right here. Head slides to the side, arms shoot, grabbing that cloth, hips come in. Okay? Then after a while, now you can take and do this. Boom! Holy crap, you were ahead. So, simple drills, guys. Simple drills. Did my head ever, at any point in time, ram into his body? At any point in time, did I ram my head into his body? Not once. My head was off to the side, my arms were through, all the power came from my hips. Thanks, Eric. All the power came from here, all the power came from here. Boom. Hands, hips. Hands, hips. Pretty soon, you do that every single day in your tackling circuit. Every single day in your tackling circuit. You start them from a knee. Once you see that every single player on that team is getting that, then you progress to standing up. Then you progress to getting some space. You're going to create some hellacious tackles, guys. You're going to create some kids that can tackle people and not hurt themselves. Not lead with their head. They're going to learn where their power truly comes from, which is not spearing somebody with this. They're going to learn that their power of hitting somebody hard and driving them to the ground comes through the grab and the hips. Okay? And it's important, especially third grade. This is their first go at it. The sooner you can teach a kid this, the better. Okay? All right. So, if you go on the USA website, there are some great things where you can set up different stations. There's a video that Scott could show. I don't think we're going to show it right now.
We can't do one.
No. But it goes along with what I just showed you on the knee. They got a coach on there that basically has a pad in front of him. He's down on both knees. And all he's doing is listen to the coach say, set, hit. He rocks back a little bit so that he brings his hips with him. You guys could do this. We don't have enough pads really for each team to do this on. Because you really want to do this as an entire team. Or in third grade, when you're set up in 6 different stations, 3 of those stations could be this type of stuff, where it's progression training. All the way through 8th grade, progression training. Okay? Progressing along. When all of them get good at it, then you progress to the next level. You could take your linebackers, you could separate them out when they're with just a particular coach, and you could take those next steps with those guys, but to train the entire team. Okay? And the one that I'm talking about is just guys on their knees right here. They come from here, squeeze those shoulder blades, boom, like this, and then they come down on the dummy that's laying in front of them. That way nobody smacks their head on the ground or anything like that. It's a great drill. I like the 2-man because you get more players involved. You get the entire 30 kids on one white line, and they're all working right now. You've got 4 coaches, 5 coaches, 6 coaches. They all know what they're doing, talking about. You walk up and down that white line. Tommy, you got to get your hips in more. Johnny, you got to get your hands up in here. You grab his hands. I blow the whistle. Said hit! Blow the whistle. They got to freeze right where they're at. So that I can walk as just a single coach. I can see exactly where their hands are. I can see exactly where their hips are. Or you can just tell the guys, hey, freeze. When I say set hit, you make that hit, freeze right there. Don't go back and reset. Freeze right there. Gives you a chance as a coach or several coaches to walk up and down. Make sure the kids have the technique. Look at where that face mask is. If that face mask is right directly in line with the other guy's face mask, number 1, he's too high. Number 2, he's hitting helmet to helmet. That is not what we want. We want that head off to the side. Head off to the side. And the guy's just like a dummy right here. Okay? Just like a dummy right here. And that is going to teach the angle tackling stuff too. As Scott said earlier, 60% of it is the angle tackling stuff. Okay, heads up blocking. Gone are the days of big offensive and defensive linemen just smashing into each other, helmet to helmet, and then hoping to get some hands into it. Okay? Do you have the same chart across? There we go. Oh, back up one. Okay. See where our hands are here? Helmet's right here. Helmet's starting to slide to the side a little bit. And now he's trying to lift. See where his hips are? Where his hips started, where his hips are finishing. And his hips, when he truly finishes, should actually try to be even a little bit closer. I wish there was a fourth slide to show full arm extension. Mike, come on up. Play with these. They play with their flippers. Okay? The days of flippers, as Scott mentioned earlier, they're gone. They're gone. So when we're here and we're an offensive lineman, this is where we should be. This is a good position. We don't put all of our weight on our hand like this so that if we came by as a coach and kicked your hand out from underneath you, you'd fall on your face. That stuff is old school. You get about 60% of your weight on your hand. You're right here. About 60%. So if my hand got hit, boom, it's going to come out, but I can catch myself. I can still catch myself. I'm not going to go flat on my face. Too much weight on their hand, which makes them too slow coming off the ball. 60% of the weight on their hand, now they can still come off the ball. Either left, right, whatever the blocking scheme is, base blocking straight forward, zone blocking steps at a 45-degree angle, they can move. They've got all the weight on their hand, they can't move.
Can we get in that position
They
again?
can go straight forward.
Take that position again.
Which one?
Get down there.
Right here?
Yeah. So again, gone are the days when we put that, you can start him out in a 4-point stance if you need to, but look at his back right here. Look how straight his back is. Look at that power. Now what you can do with this stance position, in 3rd grade, this is where we really need to start emphasizing stance. Anybody ever seen, what's the funniest stance you guys have ever seen? You ever see that one kid that comes back and puts his arm down like this, right? Or the other kid that he doesn't quite know what he's supposed to do. He's got his ninja style stuff going on. Okay? This is where we can start to correct those small things that are going to make a difference. And its stance is so important. I'm a big guy. Get here, I'm not going anywhere from this position. But if you slide this foot back, now I'm an offensive lineman, now I'm tackle. Now I can still get to where I need to get to. You can teach a 2-point and a 3-point stance with this training. Not everybody has to go all the way down. The videos will tell you get them in a 4-point. Once they get that 4-point, pick a hand up. Well, if they get here, and they get comfortable, and they can get down to that, and then they get to that 3rd point, and everything looks good, that's your base. In any type of blocking, the stance is the base. Now, I don't care if it's a halfback, a wide receiver, you can teach a wide receiver a 2-point stance. So I don't care if it's a halfback or offensive lineman. They all have to have the same basic stance. They all have to have the same principle, and it all starts with balance.
You generally don't want, you can see me from the side, I'll turn myself a couple times. You generally don't want 1 foot further back than where the front of the toe comes right through the instep here. Okay? If they start to get here, that's getting too far back. Now they can't move all the directions they may need to move as an offensive or defensive lineman. If they're here, okay, in a good base, feet shoulder width, maybe a little more apart, you have to judge that on the player. You guys have kids that have legs that come up to here and their torso is about like this, okay? If they've got those long legs, they're naturally going to have to go into wider than shoulders, okay? You got to look at the kid and know what his stance should be. If he's a kid with short little legs, his stance might be right at shoulders or maybe a little narrower, and that makes it comfortable for him to get down in the stance he needs to be in. You got to look at the kid and judge that as a coach, okay? Front of toe to the instep. It's about all the further you really want to be, okay? Get that back flat. Now when the back is flat, the head is going to be just a little bit higher than the hips. Slightly higher than the hips. I think we have one that shows that. Maybe not. Okay, there we go. Chin up, eyes open, knees bent, feet shoulder width apart, toe to instep staggered. Just exactly what I said. He's not quite all the way to toe to instep, but that toe, you don't want it any further back than the instep. Okay? That's where you want it. And either foot, it doesn't matter. Whatever a kid's comfortable with, as long as obviously he puts the correct hand down. You're not going to put this foot forward and then have this hand down. That should be obvious if you're coaching football. Okay? If this is his forward foot, it's the other hand that goes down. Okay? So, back flat, rear end slightly below the shoulder. So, what we say at the varsity level is that if I put a marble on your spine, it should very slowly roll towards your butt. It should not pick up a lot of speed as it's going downhill, but it should very slowly roll towards your butt. So that's meaning the back is flat, but the eyes, the reason it's that way is so that the eyes are up. So that the eyes are up. Okay, we got to keep the eyes up. Go back one. And 3 to 4 inches in front of the shoulders. Okay? This isn't a real good shot. His hand should be really out here just a little bit further. Okay, to get about 3 or 4 inches in front of the shoulders. Fingers extended, create a 5-point base of support. Okay, you get some of these kids that want to go on knuckles, 2 fingers and a thumb. Get them to get all their fingers down. Get them to get all their fingers down. Okay? Weight on the balls of the feet. Pretty simple. That's just being an athlete. An athlete generally knows to keep the weight on the balls of his feet, and his heels are not. We want the heels on the ground still. Okay? We want the heels on the ground still. But if you have them do anything, they should be able to just show you that they can simply go like this and get their heels up without a whole lot of effort. Okay? If they're back on their heels too heavy, then you're going to see their whole body rock forward in order to do that. So that teaches them getting some weight on the balls of their feet. So that they can easily stand here and do this. Okay? Little techniques to get your linemen offensive and defensively where they need to be. Alright. So, simple drill for offensive linemen. They're down here. Just to teach them some of the basic techniques. Again, is my shoulders just a little higher in my butt? Yes? No? Maybe? Okay, I can't see myself, so you got to help me here, guys, all right? All right. So, now we want to take our step. When we take our 6-inch step, we want to, what we call, again, the terminology may be different. I'm using the terminology we use because I don't have the terminology memorized. We call it loading our guns. Okay, so as we come here, we're loading our guns, or we're reaching for our holsters to grab our guns. So we're right here. In our next step, which is what we call a power step, as we come into our power step, we're starting to unload the guns. Thumbs up, hands on the numbers. Then, if the guy's coming forward, you may have some face mask contact where your head needs to slide to the side. Now as you're taking that next drive step, is when we need to start to create that separation. Get rid of that helmet-to-helmet contact. Get rid of that contact. We don't want those face masks beside each other. So teach your kids, boom, hands are coming back. Again, it's just like you're tackling them. You're bringing the solar plexus together. Boom. Second step, hands shoot out, thumbs are up, you're here. If it gets close, the head should be to the side. As you're driving forward, here. Now, as you're driving forward, to finish this, if you're trying to teach your guys to put defensive linemen on their back, or defensive linemen put an offensive lineman on their back, now is when you bring the hips. Boom, boom, I'm here. Now as I go, and I start to drive, I want to start to break, whoa. You should probably come this way a little bit. Then you want to teach them to start bringing those hips in for that extra power. So you're here, boom here, second step, the hands are coming in. Now as you start to drive off of you, now you can bring the hips and start to drive. Okay? Still want to keep the knees bent a little bit. I'm probably standing up a little bit too much, but we want to start to bring the hips into our driving motion. Start bringing the hips into the driving motion, just like you bring the hips on a tackle. Okay? You want to roll through any more slides at all? No. Guys, got any questions on this? We don't need to go through all this drill stuff. Again, that's your responsibility. Get online. Guys, there are, I don't know, 800 or 1,000 videos. And I have not seen a bad one yet, and I've probably seen 150 of them. Okay? There are not any bad videos on USA Football that you guys could use to teach your kids. So if you're getting ready to go to practice one day, and you're sitting at your office and you go, shit, what am I going to do tonight? We wanted to work on some offensive line technique. Take 3 minutes, get online, look up a video that's going to last maybe 3 or 4 minutes. Right there's your drill for the night. And I can guarantee you it's going to be a good drill. It's not going to be a waste of your time to look that up. Lots of great information. I mean, tons and tons.
So before you go, this is at our player safety coach training. We're in the Viking practice facility. This is actual master trainer. I believe his name is Jake. This is one of the other master trainers here. This is the shoot technique, and I videotaped this with my phone because.
Make sure the bag in a good position. Not too far away, not too close. You can take over with an airplane. Okay? Before we start, you need to learn about a rip. So I'm going to teach you to rip real fast, and then I'm going to start the music out over there. But the rip is real simple. Show me one uppercut, coach. Show me the other uppercut, coach. Show me 2 violent uppercuts. Boom. That's what you do off the bat as an airplane. I like this real close to it. Once you think.
Watch where his hands is up. Coming down to the back.
Squeeze. Sing. Shoot. Boom.
Notice the kids were almost touching on that one.
Two claps. Mostly, I had keep in my pocket, and then some small one, oh, yeah, oh, you didn't see it, coach? Okay, do it again like that. Boom, here we go. Ready, you guys, okay, you guys still being attentive? Okay, Coach Donovan, doing the shoot drill, take 2. There you go, ready? Squeeze, sing, shoot, boom. Okay, I know it's coach is signs you can see, okay, I'm gonna add a little twist for you, so it's the last time, okay, last time. Okay, coach, put your head up here and show numbers, because then your head has to be one of everybody. And you'll say, coach, I got 4 back. Hey, you got 2 hands, 2 over here, 2 over here, right? Ready, coach? Squeeze, sing, shoot.
Notice how wide his hands were? No, big guy was on fire. The hands need to be in there. You get, realistically, is the kid on a tackle going to get his hands up above those numbers? Most likely not. But for the purpose of training a kid to get his hands through, when you're doing the knee drill, which is a great drill, walk around and try to get him to get those hands to the top sides of those numbers as he brings them together. Then in a game, he's more apt to get him at least halfway up the numbers on his tackle, which is going to still be a good tackle. All right? So you want to overemphasize that so that in a game you can at least get the kid to get halfway with his hands. Overemphasize those little techniques so that when they actually make a tackle in a game, the chances of a running back getting off of them when they make that tackle are pretty slim. Because now their hands are at least halfway through the numbers and they're grabbing jersey. Okay? So understand that the realistic aspect of being in a game, you got to get the guy to the ground. You want to teach proper tackling by not using the head, using the arms, using the power of the hips. But understand what the technique is that you train, and then the technique that you're really probably going to get. Okay? The most important thing is keeping the head out of it. Guys, I'm going to say one more thing, and then I'm going to turn it over to Tom so he can get you guys out of here. I said it earlier, I'm going to repeat it. Check yourself as a coach. Check where your heart is at. And whether or not you're in this for these kids to come back next year because they had fun, or whether you're in this for your own son, or whether you're in this for a W, okay? Because if you're in it for the last 2, you're in it for the wrong reason. If you're in it for the first one, which is to have fun with the kids, teach the kids, then you're in it for the right reason. Because we got to have the numbers coming back. You check yourself as a coach. If you have 25 on your team this year, and next year you have 12, that's a problem. If you have 25 on your team this year, you have 24 come back, I'd say you did a pretty good job. That's how you know you're a good coach. Okay? Thank you guys.
All right, give these guys a round of applause. I hope that everyone found tonight to be beneficial. I think Scott gave us a lot of good information. I know Joey gave us a lot of good information. There's a lot of great information on the website. I can't emphasize enough coming to practice with a game plan and a practice plan. Scott mentioned the pet peeve about practice. I hate having one station with 15 guys waiting to do a station. Spread it out. Use your parent helpers as coaches. Break it up into stations. Keep those circuits moving. Make it fast. I think that everybody here does a great job, and I know we're here for the right reasons. I'd say as an organization, we're feeding 3 varsity programs in this youth organization. We're feeding Chaska's program, we're feeding Chanhassen's program, and we're feeding Holy Family's program. We're putting 3 varsity programs on the field, and I'd like to think that they're all 3 pretty successful programs. And that's a salute to everybody sitting out here and all the hard work that everybody puts in. I don't know if anyone has any questions, otherwise we can call it a night. All right, guys.